The Avengers radio series, a cultural phenomenon in South Africa back in the 1970s. South Africa was a country with no national television service. It wasn't until 1976 that the country would get its first taste of television broadcasts. But before that, radio was the primary medium of entertainment and information for the masses. This was the context when The Avengers, a British spy-fi series, made its debut on South African radio and became a cultural phenomenon. The Avengers was a British television series that originally aired from 1961 to 1969. The show revolved around the adventures of John Steed, a suave and sophisticated secret agent, and his various female associates. The series was a unique blend of traditional spy thriller elements with science fiction and fantasy, which set it apart from other shows of its time. While the series was hugely popular in the UK and had also made a significant impact in the American markets, being one of the rare British series given a network transmission slot, it was virtually unknown in South Africa. This was primarily due to the lack of a national television service in the country until 1976. However, as a film series, The Avengers was able to gain some exposure in South Africa through film rentals. But it was the launch of the radio series that truly brought The Avengers to the masses in South Africa. Come and listen at www.myclassicradio.net. 21st Precinct, aka 21st Precinct and 21st Precinct, was a police drama broadcast on CBS Radio from July 7, 1953, to July 26, 1956. It was initially a summer replacement for My Friend Irma. The program was produced in cooperation with the Patrolmen's Benevolent Association of the City of New York and presented adaptations from true criminal records in New York. From the policeman's point of view. Historically, the 21st Precinct had been located near Gramercy Park in Manhattan, but in 1929 the department reorganized the precinct numbering, and the 21st designation was dropped from use. No such precinct existed during the show's run, nor does a 21st exist today. However, the fictional precinct's territory corresponds closely to that of the Upper East Side's 23rd Precinct as it has existed since 1929. Stanley Niss was the producer-writer-director. The role of Precinct Captain Frank Kennelly was played by Everett Sloan for the first 109 episodes and briefly in episode 135. During episode 109, Captain Frank Kennelly was promoted to Deputy Inspector and reassigned out of the 21st Precinct. He was replaced by Captain Cronin James Gregory, 1955-56, and Les Damon, 1956. Other cast regulars were Ken Lynch as Lieutenant Matt King, Harold Stone as Sergeant Waters, Jack Arissa as Sergeant Collins, and Santos Ortega as Lieutenant Gorman. The program's announcer began the program's opening each week. 21st Precinct. It's just lines on a map of the city of New York. Most of the 173,000 people wedged into the 9/10 of a square mile between Fifth Avenue and the East River wouldn't know, if you asked them, that they lived or worked in the 21st. Whether they know it or not, the security of their persons, their homes, and their property is the job of the men of the 21st. At that point the lead actor would complete the introduction. The 21st Precinct. 160 patrolmen, 11 sergeants and 4 lieutenants of whom I'm the boss. My name is Kennelly. Frank Kennelly. I'm captain in command of the 21st. Art Hanna, Bob Hill, and Hugh Holder were the program's announcers. The series was produced by John Ives. It was usually directed and written by Stanley Niss. Another source lists Niss as producer. Come and listen at www.myclassicradio.net.
Now, don't go away, because next on CBS Radio's Comedy Time are those two zany characters of many characters, Bob and Ray.
On the air, Mr. Goulding. Grumbling, cool.
Gibson.
On the air, Mr. Gibson.
And now Bob Elliott and Ray Goulding present the CBS Radio Network.
Hey, you know the that the North Pole is an ocean 9,000 feet deep?
No, I didn't know that. I knew it was deep because it had to be pretty deep to hold all that ice and then also hold the atomic submarine that went under it.
And the South Pole is a plateau 9,000 feet above sea level.
What is that again?
The South Pole is a plateau 9,000 feet above sea level.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not planning on going there. And
the Arctic, above 60 degrees north latitude, supports over 1 million people. There's countless land animals and extensive forests.
Uh-huh. Are you having a civil trouble there, Bob?
That trouble again. Do I have to do a commercial this evening?
I don't think so.
All right.
No. Fat Chance.
Fat Chance is here with us.
Hi, everybody. Fat Chance
We're going to
talking
be talking to him a little bit later about his upcoming expedition, but right now we'd like to introduce our child guidance expert. Here is the well-known raconteur, traveler, lecturer, and cab driver turned child guidance advisor, Dr. Harlow Zickening, author of Child Guidance in a Zickening Fashion. Doctor, it's been quite a while since we've chatted with you, and we thought maybe you can answer some of the questions that we're forever getting from parents.
Thank you, Bob. And
make yourself
so as to conserve time, rather than all this preliminary exposition of who I am, what I'm doing, why don't you ask the first question, see if we can salvage some poor child's unhappiness and to make his life one of joyousness. Because childhood is that happy period that occurs after birth and before you're an old man.
Is that all the palaver from you at this moment?
Yes, sir.
Doctor, we have a mother with somewhat of a problem. A child, age 4, has just begun kindergarten this year and takes an apple to school every day, but forgets to eat it. Can you advise this parent on what steps to take? Should she continue giving the child an apple, or wait until the child realizes that it is to be eaten during milk and cracker time?
Yes, well, Bob, to answer that simply is this, that adults must remember that a child mind can think of one subject at a time, and even that one subject you cannot keep him at that for too long a period. But I mean, it's awfully difficult to keep a child's attention on any given subject.
Right.
You constantly have to be feeding him stimuli to encourage him to think of the subject you're discussing.
Yeah.
Now, as far as this apple is concerned, I'd talk to him in a matter of
4-year-old.
Yes, talk to him in a matter-of-fact way, explaining to him that the apple contains vitamins and food values that are essential to his growth.
Yes.
Then, if he still forgets or refuses to eat his apple, whack him.
Okay. I think probably that parent has been helped by the advice. Another letter is from a teenage parent who has a son who doesn't seem to listen to anything the parent says. He seems to be in a daze, according to this letter, and it just kind of ignores questions asked of him. And
this is a respect problem. This is a problem of a child thinking that he knows as much as his parent. Now, this is a challenge to the parent to effectively prove to that child that he knows more than him, or he has bigger muscles. And if the child doesn't listen, whack him.
I think maybe we have just one more time for one more letter here, Doctor. This one reads in fun. Well, it is.
Who is
this is Dr. Zickening.
How do you do? Well, I don't know as I'll grace you with a greeting.
Do you want to take one more from the mother of a 7-year-old?
Not. I didn't know I was being so poorly received. I'd just soon give her a whack and look at her.
Well, just
maybe
try it,
that'll
buddy.
Well, then, I guess that would be it for Dr. Zickening.
You want me back?
I will get in touch with you, Doctor. Don't call us, please.
Hi, partners. I'm going to explain the difference between ordinary stereo phonographs and Columbia Stereo 1. Listen to it all well on ordinary stereo. Now listen to it on Columbia Stereo 1. Man, there's a real 1,000-barrel-a-day sound. The difference is Columbia's stupendous stereo projection, not just a couple of speakers shooting in different directions. Columbia gives you the real thing, fills every inch of the room with all the sound and feeling of a live performance. And I mean a Texas-sized room. Man, ain't that the prettiest money-making sound? Get down to your Columbia phonograph dealer and ask. Demand to hear Stereo 1 by Columbia. Why, they start as low as $39.95 for portables, $129.95 for consoles. Somebody count that well. We're losing a fortune.
And now, as a sustaining feature on the Bob and Ray Show, we present another episode of One Fella's Family. Today's episode, entitled The Neighbor's Dog, is taken from book XII, Chapter VII, pages 2, 3, 5, 11, and 234. It's mid-morning as we look in on the family now. We find Father standing there, scratching his neck and saying,
Hey, Fanny, it's a beautiful morning.
Yeah?
But there's a nip in the air.
Yeah, something bites you.
Yes.
Scratching your neck all morning.
No, but they say sometimes that's a sign it's going to rain, I think.
Well, I don't know if I ever read that. Did you just make that up?
No,
Honestly, the older you get, I think you're developing a sense of humor.
Well, it's something like that. Either
your
scratching
dotage.
your neck or kiss a stranger or something of that sort.
Mm-hmm. So you're going to get money.
Yeah.
That's itchy palm getting money, isn't it?
Yeah.
And an itchy nose is you're going to kiss a stranger.
Oh, I'm glad.
Oh, there's that doggone dog from next door.
Yeah,
Tore up
that's,
all my mums yesterday.
the new neighbors who moved in there just last week.
A mean thing, too. I go out and I tried to talk sense to him, but he just sat there and growled.
It looks like a dachshund to me,
It's a
Fanny.
neurotic dog, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't mess with him. I think we ought to call the people or call the police.
Well, he does make a lot of noise.
Look, he's scratching a hole right there underneath the cherry tree.
Yes, now he's scratching his neck. It must be going to rain.
Now, please, that doesn't indicate rain.
Fanny.
I just don't know what we're going to do with him.
Well,
Honestly. Why don't you go to the phone, call them?
all right, do we know their number? Or their name?
Well, they just moved in.
Well, I'll see if...
Awfully close. Close the window anyway.
Here.
Gee whiz. Well, I think I'll go out with a broom.
Well, don't go near the neighbor's dog.
I'm not. I'm just going to sweep the steps.
You have been listening to One Fella's Family, brought to you as a sustaining feature here on the beloved Bob and Ray Show. Today's episode, entitled The Neighbor's Dog, is taken from book XII, Chapter VII, pages 2, 3, 5. Get that fool dog out of here. 11 and 234. One Fella's Family is written and produced by T. Wilson Massey. This is a Massey production.
I think, Ray, we might just take a moment out now to billboard some of the show business greats, guests on the Mitch Miller Show this Sunday night. And what a star-studded lineup it is, too, ladies and gentlemen. Shapely Sophie Barnsides, queen of the Golden Trampoline.
That toe-tap and twosome, toots and boots.
Tiger Toomey and his groovy woovies, whose latest disc click, Chickle Chewin' Chick, is riding high on the charts.
Not to mention Viola Bibble, former big band thrush, who's currently knocking 'em dead as lead understudy in the Broadway hit Follies of 1927.
And remember, Mitch Miller reserves the right to change his guest list without prior notice.
That's right, he may spring a few surprise deletions, but no matter who's visiting the Mitch Miller Show, you'll find its fine CBS Radio Sunday night fare.
I wonder who's really going to be visiting him this week.
Well, I don't know, but you'll have to go some to beat our lineup.
You gotta invite Mitch to drop by here sometime.
Or at least send his beard over.
Very good. We mentioned earlier that an old friend of ours is here in the studio, a gentleman who's had a lot of exploring experience and who right now is planning a new expedition. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to Charles L. Fat Chance. How are you, Charlie?
Pretty good, Bob. Hi, everybody.
You haven't lost any weight since we saw you last. What do you tip the scales at now?
Well, it's really not as... I don't weigh as much as my suits would indicate. The fellow sells me these big, light suits. Make me look like a blimp torn away from Lakehurst. I was
going to ask you who blew your suits up for.
Right. To answer your question, Bob, I weigh 285 pounds.
Right. Now, let's get down
without my clothes. But then, of course, you don't see me on the street more for that one.
Still the same keen sense of humor, Fat Chance.
Without it, Bob, I'd be a sick man. Without a sense of humor.
Tell me this.
I mean, it's my safety valve.
Right.
If I didn't have that, I'd be unraveling sweaters somewhere.
Charlie, they tell me that you're preparing another of your famed expeditions. And where is it going to be? What far corner of the world? What little-known spot on the globe will you be touching on this time?
Spinney Hill in Great Neck.
Could you tell us a little bit about it? Is it...
Bob, it's one of the most treacherous roads that you'll ever drive on. If there's ice and sleet coming down. Mm-hmm. It's difficult to walk. And I think it's a challenge to any person like myself.
But you will be making this ascent on foot, I understand. And will you be doing it alone, or do you have a crew with you to help with the gear and the various things that you'll need?
No, Fat Gibbons is going with me.
Uh-huh. And do you have a picture of Spinney Hill that we could look at?
Yes, there it is.
I see you marked an X there for your base camp. How long will you be there?
About 10 minutes.
From there, you start the perilous ascent.
That's right.
With your pythons, of course, and...
That's why we have these shoes, too, with the spikes on the bottom of them. Mm-hmm. And we're going to try out a new fabric jacket that people, the manufacturer wants to see if it'll keep us warm and keep the weather off us, the rain and snow that we're apt to run into as we approach the apex of this hill.
Are you carrying a flag with you to plant should you reach the top?
Yes, British Honduras.
Wonderful. And looking at the picture here...
I did fly the Panamanian flag for a while, but decided against it. On this particular...
What is the exact altitude of the hill?
I think it's...
you refer to as a hill.
I think it's 105 feet above sea level.
105. So you should be back to dinner, I guess.
Lunch.
For lunch.
Because coming down, you move a lot faster.
Right.
Especially a fellow like me.
Well, thanks. Thank you, Charlie, and our best to Fat Gibbons. Certainly hope that you will be successful in your ascent. And come back and tell us about it.
I will, Bob.
Now that you know the way, don't be a stranger.
Right-o.
Okay. Fat Chance, ladies and gentlemen.
Wonderful person. A wonderful person. See, we'll have a definition of a fat person in just 10 seconds. Bob, with that definition.
That person, someone who weighs a lot.
Oh, boy. Well, until tomorrow, this is Ray Goulding reminding you all to write if you get work.
Bob Elliott reminding you to hang by your thumb.
Scrambled Wits keep your funny side up tomorrow on the CBS Radio Network.